Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. And we want to thank our show presenting sponsor, Talent Co Real Estate, where you go and you say, even if you're on step one and you don't even know if you want to buy or if you want to sell, it can be overwhelming. Don't get stuck in that overwhelming space. Work with somebody who is amazing, and that's the owner of Talent Co Real Estate. Her name's Amy. You can find her at homeandnoco.com. Shawn, how are you?
I always thought that was a really good way to make new friends. Like, you don't really want to buy or sell a house. You just call up a real estate agent and be like, hey, you want to go look at some houses today? And they think the whole time you're going to buy a house. And really, all you're doing is hanging out and going to open houses with a new friend.
FYI, I warned Amy to stay away from you. um,
I don't
yeah.
need any
Or
new
if you
friends,
don't want to
Amy.
scam the person and you just need, yeah, I could see Shawn. He's like, wow, it's already lunchtime. Do you want to go grab a bite to eat?
I am going to be buying a house from you. The Chick-fil-A's on you today, right?
This guy's like, we are on week 3 of you using the system this way.
I wonder, we have to ask Amy because she's real and that's why we like her and she would tell us the truth. Like, has there ever been a situation where probably not somebody playing you like that to get free lunches, but after how many houses do you show?
We're,
Are you like, are you really gonna buy one? Because this is like you're starting to waste my
yeah.
time here.
I know. I do wonder that too. Yeah, she would be interesting to talk to because say you go get a platter of cookies and then all of a sudden the same damn family walks in and gets all those cookies. But then you can't be like, stop eating the cookies because it is an open house.
That's true. Can I tell you, like, along those same lines, there's this family and my grandma, God rest her soul, because she was a really good person, but every once in a while she'd find somebody to make fun of. And there's a couple of these families, they're like family friends from long lines of down the gene pool. And so they were just like family friends by default, but she would make fun of them because they would show up at every funeral. And she's like, I don't even think these people knew the person that died, but they would be there because they wanted to go to the luncheon. And sure enough, like, some of them are still alive, and I'll notice, like, every funeral I'll go to, I'll be like, "How do you know this person? They're there again."
Oh my gosh. And you could look it up, can't you? There's got to be, I mean, I know you used
The
to be able to look it
newspaper.
up in the newspaper,
Yeah,
but
that still
uh
exists, you still can.
I love you know what? There needs to be a new movement called old people hacks. And an old people hack would be you don't have the money to eat, just go to a wedding or a funeral. One time, Ryan and I went to the movies with my parents. I'm going to call them out. And the movie ended, and Ryan and I are like, wow, that was nice. And they walked into another theater. And I go, Mom, and this was back when, do you remember going to the theater like on a Friday or Saturday night when it was like packed?
Mhm.
And, so they would come in with the clipboard, and I'm sure
Yeah.
they were pretending to do something and count people. I'm sure the kid was like 17. But I told Mom, we didn't buy tickets. Like, they're going to find out. And she goes, I'm old. No one will say anything. Like, what? And her and my dad acted way too comfortable in the situation. And then I found out that they would take like a Saturday and they would just theater
Pop
hop.
pop
They'd
theaters.
see like 4 movies in a day and then probably go to the Olive Garden.
Back then, it was all just GA, so you could just plop down wherever. Now they
It
make you
was,
reserve
yeah.
seats, and so my kinda luck, I would end up in somebody's seat, and it would cause a stink, and he would
That's
be
the
like, "Hey,
worst.
that's my seat," and I would have to move, and then the guy with the clipboard would see me moving, like, 4 different times, and I would get caught.
Yeah, see, you're like, "Wait, I'm over that. Wait, no, I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any empty seats in this area? I think I'm there." No, I mean, I totally my parents were like juveniles, and they always have been. Like, I remember one time downtown in Fort Collins, Colorado, there was like, just kinda like a festival, like, totally innocent, and my parents got super shwasted there, and then they called me, and they were like now I was, like, 16, so I was, like, freshy with the driving, and they were like, "You have to come get us because 'cause we're drunk." I said, "Okay, mom and dad," and so I get in the car and go to where they instruct me that they're at, and they're not there. So I'm like, "Oh my god, where are my drunk parents?" They're like toddlers lost in a big city, like, so I called my mom and I'm like, okay, where are you guys at? I'm where you told me. And my mom goes, you have to find us. They're just so drunk. And I had to find them. I had
Well,
to
you're a
walk
good
around and
daughter.
find.
I
Well,
would
what
have
am I
told
going to
my dad.
do?
I would have told my dad's ass, "You're getting a taxi, dude. Either come find me right now. Here's where I'm parked. Either come get in my car, or I'm leaving you."
Yeah, but then you know what would happen? My parents would get a DUI and my mom's top would end up coming off. It'd be all on camera footage. It would be because of me, because I didn't really try to go and find them. But I had to find them. And it was like right by the city library. Kids are running around and eating snow cones. My parents are like, oh, they don't do that anymore. And in a way, it makes me sad.
Yeah,
I
I was
I
gonna
wish they
say
did.
that is really sad. That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, they were fun drunks. We would go to Mexico and it was just a fun time. And we would get so one time we went to Mexico and we stayed at a fancy resort and my parents stayed at like a Hooters Cancun. And every morning my mom and dad would get on a bus, probably with chickens on it, and would get a ride to our hotel, and they would just walk in. And all day, it was all inclusive. So they ate and drank all day and
You
drank and
don't have
drank
to
and
like
drank,
show
drank,
a
drank.
pass or anything in a
You
place
sh-
like that,
we had bracelets that we could wear. They didn't have a bracelet. They
and they
were
still
like,
got served.
hell yes. And so by day 6 of this vacation and them all day, they'd get on a bus at like midnight with chickens on it and they'd ride back to Hooters Cancun. But we would go back to the room after we'd be at the pool all day and they would order everything off the menu and then they'd go hide in the bathroom. But again, and like an old people hack is like no one's going to question them. But again, by like day 6, I thought the federale are coming
Yeah.
because we have eaten 800 pounds of papas fritas, and my dad's had 7,000 free Coronas, and nothing. We were expecting to check out and either get arrested or slapped with like a huge bill. Nothing. They got away with it.
How about that? They don't like scan the bracelet,
No, it was
and the
just like
people didn't
it was
ask.
no, nobody said anything.
They just kept
Nobody said
bringing it.
anything. They
Huh.
just and my mom, like, got to know she's one of those people where on vacation, she'll learn every bartender, and
Yeah,
so she'd be like,
smart.
"Jose, papas fritas," which means French fries, and I would find her, like, by the pool, and my parents, again, they don't do this. They don't drink anymore, and that totally bums me out because
Yeah,
they
that's
were
sad.
wacky.
I had some pretty interesting experiences with my parents, like in particular my dad when he would get hammered. Like he didn't drink very. He's not like a guy that just has a beer here and there. When he
Yeah,
drinks, he goes. And so there was a couple of times there was his best friend always had a 3rd of July party every year, and they played this game. It's called Killer Croquet, and it's croquet. If you're familiar with that, where
yeah,
you
where
like
you have the
whack the balls
mallet.
with the mallet, yeah. Except for I never got to play because I was never old enough. They would bring us and they'd have a trampoline set up in the middle of the country, and I would jump on the trampoline all night. Well, my dad got wasted playing killer croquet because they had to like chug some sort of drink and
Oh, so it was like beer
multiple
pong, only it was croquet and you
okay, yeah.
drank.
And they built this like whole little mini golf course on this guy's property in the middle of nowhere, and they would all get hammered. And I mean, it wasn't like anybody just got a little bit toasty. They were hammered. And he would puke on the way home every time. It was just normal on the 3rd of July, I'd puke all over the side of his car. And then on the 4th of July, we would spend the 4th of July like power washing his car because he puked all over it. And
Daddy's
so
got a hangover and can't celebrate Independence Day.
the funny part about that is there's some people listening that are probably going to be like, that's bad parenting. You probably inspired your children to be drinkers. No, those are some of my fondest memories. I thought it was so fun when daddy got hammered. I really did. I thought it was great. And we went to a wedding this weekend and I was the bump on a log that didn't drink. And so my kids are going to remember me sitting at the wedding with my thumb up my ass, refusing to dance to Sweet
He's
Caroline.
never any fun,
Yeah,
Mom.
and I
Yeah.
have these memories of my dad playing killer croquet and getting hammered, so I'm gonna rethink about my
Evaluate your
life.
life.
Yeah,
Stop being healthy, stop exercising and eating right, and become drunk daddy, and
yeah,
give
I'm gonna
those
start.
kids, like a real childhood. I will say on the flip side though, when we were really little, I never remember my parents drinking. It wasn't until I was like 16, 17, where I think they were like the last one's gone. She's on her own. We don't have to wipe her butt. We don't have to pay for anything because by then I had a job. And I think that that's when their second life started. When all
It's
the
too bad
kids
that
were
it didn't last
gone.
longer because older people, I feel like when I say that, like people that are 16 above that party are the funnest partiers
So
ever.
good,
They're
so
they're
good.
yes, they're all of them. Like, if you're over 60 and you're partying, you're having a good time.
That's the only type of people my brother hang out with. My brother is 3 years older hangs out with my brother's 3 years older than me, and he spends half the year, like, in another country.
Right.
And so he'll stay in like he'll go to Cancun and he'll stay, but he won't stay at a resort. He'll like rent a room. And I'm like, "Oh, aren't you scared of getting your head cut off?" And he's like, "No, you could get shot in America. I mean, the odds of getting your head cut off are getting less and less." But I'm like, "Oh my God." But he has through the years of doing this, he has met so many retired people. And he just went with some retired friends to, Thailand,
Hmm.
but they're all old and they
Yeah.
all drink.
Yeah, they all have a good time. They know how to party. It's true. And when we were at this wedding this weekend, it was a long ways away. It was a 5-hour drive to where we went, and so we stayed. I didn't even really know that we were staying. I got an Airbnb. First time I've ever done an Airbnb. I've always been a hotel guy,
Mhm.
but we got an Airbnb, and it was a log cabin, and it looked really cool. I didn't realize that the log cabin was in a campground, and so which is fine. We get there and it's a campground and we're surrounded by all these people. It's Memorial Day weekend, so everybody's
Yeah.
camping. And they had like this common area, and all these old drunk people were inviting us. It was the night of the wedding though, but they invited us to this little barbecue. And I'm sad that we weren't able to go because I feel like there was lifelong friends to be made at this barbecue. Instead, I went and watched drunk people dance to Sweet Caroline while I sat with my thumb up my ass at the wedding.
Can you say whose wedding you went to? Because
Yeah,
we've spoken of this person on the podcast.
yeah, we can. If you're a regular listener, you remember the whole episode that we had. We should take better notes because I could tell you exactly what episode to go back and listen to. If not, but
Yeah.
regardless, Whacker is what we called him. He's the guy that we caught jacking off on the roof of the radio station during a concert. Uh, he that was the first time I ever met him. Him and I became really close friends over the years of working together. After he stopped beating off on the roof, and well, at
Or
least I
did
thought
that
he
entice you and make you curious?
I was curious. Like, this guy's got to be intriguing. If you're willing to beat off with rainwater on the roof of a concert venue while a concert's going on, I want to be your friend.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
wasn't it like White Snake was playing that night? I
38
mean, like,
special.
I'm sorry, it was in the air. I mean, I'm sure that's the perfect he's literally there while 38 Special is singing, and girls from Hooters are walking around with drinks, giving shots to guys. I mean, like, I'm shocked that he didn't go up there and find 18 more dudes just jerking the girk, you know?
Well,
It
you had to have
was
a
yeah.
pass to get up there. That's why you couldn't just wander your way up onto the roof. You had to have a pass. And so he was one of the lucky few. He's actually lucky that he did this when he did it because a couple years later, this event, they call it Thunder in the Rockies. It's like a little mini Sturgis. A
Yeah.
bunch of motorcycle people got a little too rowdy. And so they had to start hiring like SWAT team members or snipers, and they put them on the roof to watch over everybody to make sure that crazy shit wasn't going down. And so, I mean, I guess you could go up there and jerk off with a SWAT team member
And
up
you'd
there,
be
but
safe with
that
I
would be
guess I
weird.
didn't think with a sniper up there.
Yeah,
He's like,
I mean,
"Dude, how long does it take?"
you ever try to do it with rainwater? It's not easy.
"My
Um,
hands are slick. Do you have anything could I wipe my hands on your coat?"
anyway, that's luckily for this guy, he no longer has to go jerk off on the roof because he's now found the love of his life. And I will tell you this, I've been to a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
I feel like just watching him, but
Mm.
I don't think I've ever seen a groom that felt like genuinely that happy. Like,
Oh
he
my
could not he could
gosh.
not stop kissing her all over her face and her head. At one point I was like, I think she's getting annoyed because he will not keep his face off of her face. But it wasn't like it wasn't because he felt like he needed to, like, he wanted to just show her so much love. He's so happy, and I couldn't be more happy for him, and so I was happy that we could be there for him, and he found the one, because I've always said since day one, Whacker Drew is his real name, is one of those people who would do anything for people that are,
He
like,
is
loyal to him.
truly
Like, if
the
you're his friend, yes, he will do anything for you, and so I said, like, if a girl ever gives this guy a chance, he is gonna treat her like the queen, and I
and
think that I was
usually
right.
guys like Whacker don't really get that chance. You know what I mean? It's always the douche canoe that's like the bad boy, you know? And it's so weird. So that when I saw he got engaged, I was so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for him too, and it was a lovely wedding. It was on a golf course. It was really cool. The problem for me is we've talked about this before. I'm not a huge wedding guy because it's the same thing over and over. Like there's the wedding, and I'm happy to be there for you and watch you say I do and kiss the bride and all of that stuff. But like the reception and all of that stuff, it's always the same. Like it's the
Yeah.
same. It's the
Like,
same shitty meal. It's the same D dumb DJ that has the pukey voice that
I know,
thinks
I
that
know.
he's a superstar, and playing Sweet Caroline and all those kinds of songs, the Cupid Shuffle, like, been there, done that 100,000 times. I don't need to be there. And not only that, but usually when you go to a wedding, most of the people, like you have mutual friends. I don't think I knew anybody else at this whole entire wedding. It was one of the most awkward things. He invited us to a pre-party the night before the wedding at a house. He's like, here's the address. There's a pre-party. I had the whole family. He's like, you can bring everybody. So we show up, and it's like the whole wedding party, like going over everything. And they're looking at us like, who are these guys and why are they here? And there's a hockey game on in the corner. So we went and sat on the couch and watched the hockey game, which was muted, by the way, for like 45 minutes while they did their wedding thing. And Drew came over at one point. He's like, hey, just make yourself at home. There's soda and stuff. And so I whispered to Shannon, I was like, hey, we have dinner plans. We're leaving. And so we left this party after 45 minutes and didn't talk to a soul. And then the same people are, of course, at the wedding the next day. And I'm not the type that's going to go up to people and be like, hey, I'm Shawn, Drew's old
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
So I sat there for 5 hours,
You just sat there?
sat there.
Well, listen, you're talking about something incredibly awkward, and these things that you just explained happens to me all the time. Like, I just remembered the other day, I was outside, and we have the like a trampoline, and it's in the ground, and Ryan's office is like kind of right off of that. And
Rich people things.
the kids were the kids were jumping on the trampoline and they were screaming. And I said, guys, you can't scream. And at that point, my neighbor, his name's Jeff, was walking and he yelled something. And I go, what? And he said something about scream. And I thought he said, do you want some ice cream? This is the dumbest thing. So I yell across, yeah, I like some ice cream. And he goes, okay. And then just this very weekend, mere days later, I had a second encounter with this guy. Oh, crap. We had friends over because Ryan smoked some meat. And so we had friends over to eat. And he was one of the friends and he brought guacamole in a bowl. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Then everybody leaves the get together and everybody ate, packs up, leaves. They live across the street from us. And I thought, well, I'm not going to eat guacamole. First of all, it goes bad so quickly. And second of all, I'm not in the mood for guac. I don't think Ryan's gonna eat it. So I dumped it out and pushed it down the garbage disposal so I could wash the bowl. And he walked back in and he goes, I'm just here to grab my guacamole.
What
And
did you
I'm like,
say?
ha, ha. Like, and when I do get freaked out, I just make weird noises like, oh, oh, ah, like that's how you truly cut to the quick on this. And so I said, "Oh my god." And he goes, "Did you throw guacamole away?" Cuz they had just left and I'm like, "I did, but I'm washing the bowl." And he goes, "Okay." And he left and I thought, I'm not meant for the world. like chain me up in a basement and let me just be who I am because anytime, and you know what I was telling Ryan over the weekend because we went to Walmart. I said, Ryan, I've learned there are two types of elderly people. There's the really sweet, so sweet, they'll kiss your baby and they're adorable. And then there are the get the fuck out of my way
Mhm.
at the grocery store. And I encountered both of those at Walmart over the weekend where I mean there was this little old couple and they were shopping and they were so cute. They were talking to Murphy and then I was over with Murphy to the self checkout and I was waiting for Ryan. And so this old couple walks by, a different old couple. And I said, would you guys like to use this one? And they looked me up and down and just kept walking. And I thought, oh my God. Again, old people, they can get away with anything.
It's so true. Actually, I ran into like the uber nice ones though, like, and this was above and
Yeah.
beyond anything I'd ever seen. This was a couple of weeks ago. We were at Walmart and it was just Shannon and I. For some reason, we left the kids at home, just a quick trip to Walmart. We're walking down aisle. I'm telling her it was a Sunday night, like, let's get in and get out as fast as we possibly can. I want this to be record time. And there's this old
Do
couple
you
in the
ever enjoy
tortilla.
life?
Not at Walmart, I sure don't. And so there's old people standing right in front of the tortillas that we need. And so when we wait our turn and they get their tortillas, they turn around and they start talking to us like they know us, like we're long lost friends. And these people are in their 80s. We end up standing there and talking to them for 45 minutes. And the whole time I was thinking to myself, like, what are they going to sell? What is, and sure enough,
Yeah.
the guy was like, as we're walking away, he's like, hey, can I grab your phone number? And
Oh, what the what? And Shawn, of course you said yes.
And he said, "I have some sort of investment opportunity,
Oh, you
and
wasted
this
45
this has
minutes.
made all of our kids very, very wealthy, and you're gonna love this, and we want you to get involved with it." And so I put in my phone number, one number off. And so I haven't heard from the guy,
You're
obviously,
so
because
lucky
he
that
can't.
dude didn't do that whole, "Let me check to make sure I got it, I'll call you," and then
I
it didn't ring to you, like,
uh,
oh, that would take it to the next level of yeah.
this is how I got away with it because I would have given him my real phone number if my phone was in my pocket, but I had left it in the truck, and so he couldn't. I said,
Oh,
"I left my phone at home. Sorry." I'd like, "Text me, I'll text you back." I'm never gonna see the guy again at some random Walmart.
yeah, that's true.
So I got out of it. But I guess I would rather talk for 45 minutes to somebody who's super nice and ultimately wants to sell me something than talk to or encounter the grumpy ones because there's more of those I feel like than not lately. There's a lot of the grumpy ones.
I know. I feel like, again, like I said, there are two types of old people, happy old people and just pissed off at life. Like, in a way, can you blame them? The time that they had to grow up in would suck. You know, you had to go in an outhouse and shit in the middle of the night. I would be a grumpy old person too. I'd be like, what do you mean you're inventing toilets that spray water on people's butts so they don't have to wipe? Like, I had to go out back and take a crumpet with my dog, you know? And,
At
like,
least at least though you're still living in the age where you get to experience some of these things.
I don't know.
That should make you happy. I was just actually, I didn't plan this, but there was a thing that popped up on my computer earlier today. It says the average person starts to get more negative at the age of 42,
Oh, I've got one more year of joy.
and then you're going to get real negative. The
And
survey
I'm gonna
also
be a
asked those
bitch.
people
If you
what
thought
they
I
have
was a
felt.
bitch before, just buckle up for 42 and beyond.
The survey also asked these people what they have felt the most irritated about recently. The top 10 things are number 10, TV volume being too loud. I get
Mm,
yelled at by I can't hear. We've talked about this before, but I really have bad hearing, like to the point where I should get some
I
help. And
know.
so Shannon gets super mad at me at the TV volume all the time. I feel like I get yelled at for that. Number
I get
9,
mad
music
at
that you don't like.
wait, hold
Oh, what?
on.
You're
I
gonna
get mad
comment
at
on all
Murph.
these.
Listen, no, I'm not. Murphy, when she watches her tablet in like 2 rooms away, it's on full blast. And the stuff that kids watch these days are stupid. If it were Care Bears or the Smurfs or something like that, I'd be like, let that freedom ring, turn it all the way up. But it's like It's like kids opening presents, and the parents are so weird because they play along. It's so weird. I'm always like, turn these people off. Who are these
There are
people?
some real shit ones. Like there's this dude that Boone watches named Blippy. Does Murphy watch Blippy?
Oh,
He's
well,
the worst.
do you know
But
he was in porn?
was he really? I'll have to watch with a different eye now.
You're gonna now watch with a totally different eye. I did. I was like, come on, Murph, let's watch Blippy again. Because it's like
You're being real?
I this is what I've heard. Let me look it up really quick.
Just let
Blippy
me say
was
that
in porn.
it's not all horrible because Bluey is one of the best cartoons ever made, and Boone does love Bluey. And I had heard like adults saying that Bluey is
Oh,
really
Bluey's
good,
the
like,
best.
but then I actually sat down and watched it, and I was like, damn, I didn't know that they still had it in them to make such a good cartoon.
You know what? And it taught like Bluey, I'll get emotional watching Bluey. Like Murphy's just coming out of the Bluey phase where it's not as cool. She doesn't want to watch it. And that makes me incredibly sad. But there were episodes where I'd sit and I'd be like, I am a good mom. She's right. Because it talks about like parents being burnt out. It talks about
Yeah.
people dying. It talks about, like things where at the end you're like, oh my god, I just had like an awakening because of Bluey. Was
My
Blippy in
third
porn?
sometimes I'll make the older 2 kids watch cartoons with Boone, and, like, all of a sudden, they'll usually complain, but all of a sudden, Quentin was like, "Alright, I'll watch it." He's 13 years old, and you wouldn't think that he would like it, but he likes Bluey. He would never admit it at 13 years old, but he likes it. Like,
Okay,
he
so
he looks forward to me telling him he has to watch Bluey with his brother.
I love Bluey. Oh, it's so good. It's a great show. Blippy was in porn. I
Well,
looked it up.
that's very weird.
Anyway, so speaking of being at Walmart over the weekend, I was thinking about something. I remember growing up and I've always been like, you it's really polite to say ma'am. Like yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am,
Yeah, I
or
do it. I make it a
yes,
point to do
sir,
it. I
no,
get
sir.
yelled at more for doing it than I do when I don't do it, though.
Well,
People
that's
don't
what
like
I was
being
saying
called.
is now more and more people are telling me, "Have a good day, ma'am." And I am like offended. I'm
Mm.
not at all. And again, growing up, I thought I was always like, I am a kick-ass human being because I am polite, but every time. And so everywhere I go, it's have a good day, ma'am, ma'am.
I say ma'am to everybody. I say ma'am to, like, little girls because I don't know, it was just, like, taught to me that that's how you
No, but
talk
it's
to a
not
lady.
like you're playing
I
around with a kid. It's like
I get
you're
it. I would say it to you though too, and what I'm saying is I don't say it in like a, "Oh, she looks like an older lady, so I need to say ma'am." No, I say ma'am to a 21-year-old woman too.
really?
Yeah. For real.
Well, now I'm an a-hole because I would only say it to older people. I thought it was like,
Well, you are an a-hole.
I know, wait till I turn 42. Uh,
Right?
yeah,
Number 9, music that you don't like pisses them off. Number 8, tipping culture, which I think pisses everybody off. I've gotten to the point
yeah.
because I am the nice guy, so there was a time where I was like, "Alright, there's a tip line on it, I gotta leave it." Now I'm like, it's liberating to put a big 0, and I put the cross through the
I'm
0
not
too.
there. I feel like I have to do that, but they're staring at you and they turn that iPad around and they're like, "There's a question for you on it." So you have to look at it. You can't just pretend you're looking at the birds waiting for your order to come off.
I will tip in a situation where, like, I feel like they have to make my food because I'm like, what if they decide that it's not good and they rub their balls on it or something?" But, like, if they've already handed me my Subway sandwich and I have the Subway sandwich in hand, and then they're like, "Alright, pay,"
No.
you aren't
Yeah,
getting a tip, sorry. So
I would
that's, like,
have
if you're a service worker, always ask for the tip before you make the food.
That's so true because it's almost like a tax that you're paying on not getting balls put on your Taco Bell. It's like you could look at it as a tip, but it's really just a tax, a no ball tax.
But you get the tax, Uncle Sam doesn't, so it's even a better tax.
Yeah. Well,
Number 7, social media trends, whatever. Number 6, customer service. It does suck these
it
days,
does suck. It does
and we've
suck.
talked about that many times. I hate that. I hate that about our world because I don't know that you ever fix that either. I think that we're just stuck in a situation where if you go to Applebee's or Chili's moving forward, you're gonna get shitty service, and that's just how it is.
And
I
they
hate that.
can't find anybody to do anything. And so it's so weird the culture of owning a business because it's like people these days are like, you need me more than I need
Yeah.
you."
Well,
And
and
then
the
it
worst part
becomes,
is, yeah, they
"You're
get
not
away
gonna
with
tell
it.
me what to do
Right.
because you're not gonna
And
fire me."
I've been to Taco Bell. These people are saying, "I've been to Taco Bell and I've got shitty service there, so why am I gonna give you good service at Wendy's?" And it's just a vicious cycle, like, you're never gonna come out of it. You want good service, you're just gonna have to go to Chick-fil-A for every meal.
We sound like old people right now.
We do. Number 5, weather. Have you started bitching about the weather yet?
No, I love all kinds of weather. I love it when any kind of weather, I get so weird, like, I get excited because when it snows, I'll crock pot, and it's so cozy. When it's nice out, I leave the door open, and so
Right.
you can hear the birds. Ryan is a legitimate when it's gray outside, that is, like, the funk that he is in, and it's like seasonal depression where and I feel like in Colorado, it's just like winters have gone longer and longer and longer. And you're like, shouldn't we be at the pool? And instead, it's windy and it's
That's
cold
the
and it's
one weather. Windy is the one that pisses me off. There's something about the wind when it's just that, like, a little breeze is fine, but when it's windy, like, you can't be outside, it almost feels like Mother Nature's, like, middle finger to you. It's a nice day. It's 80 degrees and sunny, but it's a fucking hurricane outside and you can't go enjoy it. And it pisses me off.
okay. What's
And
next?
my trampoline blows over into my grumpy
Oh,
neighbor's
yeah.
yard.
So
That
what
pisses
now?
me off.
What did you do with that?
Nothing.
Really quick.
Nothing. I
The
got it back
trampoline is still
over.
standing. Does
Yeah,
it work?
he's thrown the legs back over too because I was missing legs, and I was hesitant to go knock on his door and be like, "Hey, can I have my trampoline legs?" He's now thrown them over the fence because 'cause they're over there. I
Well,
just haven't gotten around to putting it back together. Boone jumps on it half broken anyway. I'm just waiting for him to break a leg so I can sue the trampoline company. All right, number 4, crowds. We've already talked about that. We don't have to get into it. We already know we hate
yeah, we
crowds.
hate it.
Number 3, someone else is driving. That's number 1 for me. I hate it, but I spend a lot of time on the road. Number 2, politicians. Scott James, I'm looking at you.
We hate you. Just
And the
kidding.
number 1 thing that people over 42 are most irritated about are grocery prices. That's something that doesn't bug me. Like, I don't even notice it. This is gonna sound like I
What?
have more money than I know what to do with, and
Oh,
this is
rich
sad,
people
but
problems coming
no,
your
that's
way.
not the case. I'm really not rich. Like, I really don't have a whole lot of money, but I go to the store and get the things that I need. We splurge. We get a thing of cookies every week when we go to like snack on throughout the week. And other than that, like, we have the meals planned out, so I go get the meals and what other necessities we need. But I don't look at the prices. Like, I don't look at how much are the Oreos today? I couldn't even tell you. I'd be horrible on the prices, right? Because I don't know. I go get what I need. I put it in my cart, and I have no idea. And sometimes the grocery bill is $200, and sometimes it's $100. And I don't equate it to grocery prices going up. I equate it to what I got.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
weird. And I like it
no.
that way because it
Okay,
doesn't make me angry.
well, it's funny because, for example, we went to Walmart because we were having friends over, and we're looking around, and soda is like over $7 for a 12 pack. And that's at Walmart. If you want to save money, you go to Walmart. That's
Right.
where you go. And so that's at Walmart.
Well,
I
how
can't
much?
even believe it.
That sounds normal. How much?
No, it used to be $2.50.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and now it's like over $7, which I guess is good because maybe it stops people from drinking soda, which
That's
is like a
true.
vice. But it's also potato chips, like chips. First of all, not only has the price gone up, but I'm pretty sure the air has also gone
Yeah,
up
the
in
air
the
has
actual
definitely.
bag where
Yeah.
you open it and you look down and you're like, what? There are no
Mhm.
chips in here. I got had again. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, you could write Doritos and tell them that they're assholes,
No, I
but
don't have
I
time
don't
for
know that it's gonna help you.
that.
I will notice sometimes, like, the meat, I guess, and it's not necessarily like it went up, but I'll think about, here's what I equate it to is a Wendy's meal. Can I take the family to Wendy's and spend less money than what it would cost me to make hamburgers at home? Because if so, the service is included. I get that's cooked for me. The dishes are done. So
What
then
does
I
Shannon
don't.
think about that theory? Because I think that is brilliant, but Ryan would be like, "Every night, every night."
Yeah, I don't want Wendy's. I want home cooked hamburgers. So we buy I think about it that way. I don't make a decision based on that. I buy the hamburger at the store. But I'm
Okay,
like,
one
damn, I could have went to Wendy's and I bought hamburger at the store that I have to prepare instead.
Yeah, one last thought on that is you don't notice it in the grocery store. Do you notice it at fast food restaurants? I remember the dollar menu at McDonald's. And I remember when you could go to
Yeah.
Taco Bell if you had $2 and you would eat like it was Thanksgiving.
Mhm. I
And
do.
now you go to Taco Bell and you order like 4 things and they're like, that's 26.99. And you're
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
what?
It's crazy, but I did see that McDonald's is bringing back a $5 meal deal. I think it's this week, actually. This week or next week, they're going to
Oh,
unveil it. You get a full meal for $5, and so
that's
intrigued
because
by
they're
that because I feel like there are enough people. Sorry, that there are enough people that are interested in saving money now that these places are becoming conscious of that. So these dollar menus or something similar will come back.
yeah. Or they're
Amen,
doing it to
sister.
celebrate that that guy died that made the Super Size
That's
Me
true.
show. They're like,
That's
"You fucked us good for a long time." I hope that's not why they're bringing $5 meals back. That would be disgusting. But, who knows what. We just want to say thank you to our show sponsor, Cristiana Salon and Spa. Go in there. This is the perfect time to go because just moms and dads, and both can come in. We're heading into tough season. Shawn, what do your kids do during the summer? Is it just
nothing.
home? Yeah,
Shay's
it's just
Shay's got
home.
a babysitting job. Boone goes to the babysitter, and Quentin will probably play Fortnite for 17 hours a day.
Yeah, so you're going to have to deal with all of these things cuz school is out. Maybe you need a hot stone massage. Have you ever had one of those, Shawn?
No, do they stick stones in cracks and stuff, or do they just go on your back?
No, they just go I've never had a stone stuck in a crack. I would be like, "Money, I need a refund." No, these hot stones, they go and it's just so relaxing. And so you may not know it because you may think, well, they just do hair at Christiana Salon Spa, and that's not true. They do everything, including facials, waxing, and hot stone massages. So thanks to them, they are located in Johnstown, Colorado, right by the Shields. And Shawn is ready to go.
Go check them out. Father's Day's coming up. Treat your daddy. Are we
You're
done?
a you're a natural. We're done.
Yeah, I know.